Hello friends, and welcome to the channel again. And if you followed my channel for a bit, you know my love for film, although recent times I really don't know if that love is going to continue and how long it's going to continue for various reasons. Maybe that's something for a different video. But today I wanted to talk about my experience with the Harman Phoenix original and the Harman Phoenix II. Now, I was pretty excited when they released the Phoenix 2, and I wanted to really test it out. But testing it out probably had no meaning if I was not comparing it to the original one. So I bought a 120 roll of both and put them to test. So the Phoenix 1, or the original, was on the Mamiya 6, and the Phoenix 2 was on my friend's Pentax 645N. And the 645N, as you might know, has autofocus. The Mamiya, I was just manually focusing. And both of them were pretty much shot under very similar circumstances, evening, summer evening, kind of warmish light towards, maybe an hour and a half before sunset. So pretty good contrast. On the Phoenix 2, I shot a few in the morning, but again, in harsh sunlight, very bright and nice sunlight. So bound to get some contrasty hard shadows. Both of them were developed in Jobo in the same tank. So I think I avoided pretty much any variation as far as the developing is concerned. I scanned them with my Canon R5 Mark II with the 100mm 2.8 macro lens, the RF lens, and that's my standard. I use a negative supply light source. So pretty much mostly very similar circumstances, but here's what I found. Now, if you see these pictures, the Phoenix 1 does have that orangish, brownish kind of tinge throughout the roll, and it is fairly consistent. And I like that consistency. I mean, I just don't want to be surprised frame to frame, I'm okay if I kind of can predict the look, picture after picture. And that's what the Phoenix 1 gave me. And the Phoenix 1 basically had grain, but that grain was film grain, very, very, very film-like grain, right? Not the digital noisy kind of grain. And again, all these were shot with the R5 Mark II at an ISO of 125, right? So it cannot be that the R5 is introducing its own kind of digital noise or anything like that, right? So I'm fairly sure that's not the case. And the Phoenix 1 was quite sharp. If you see, obviously Mamiya 6 manual focus, but if you see the signboard and stuff, it's all fairly sharp. And here's the surprise. The Phoenix 2 was inconsistent. So I got a lot of green cast in some pictures right now. That might be because there was a lot of foliage, there's green leaves and stuff and grass, and the kids were sitting there. Is that the reason there was that green cast? What do you guys think? So then should I have compensated with like a filter or something? Because I stopped doing that way back in the 90s. I mean, the 90s when I used to shoot Velvia, I used to, based on whether I was shooting in daylight or whether I was shooting in the evening, I sometimes used filters to compensate for color casts. But I just stopped doing that way back then. And since then, I've used a lot of Ektar and color films. I've used a lot of Ektar and I've used a lot of Portra. And I've really not observed, too much of color cast. So this one has it. Is that the nature of the film? I don't know. But I kind of liked the consistency of Phoenix 1 better. The other thing with Phoenix 2 was that there were a couple of shots I shot late evening where the sunlight was falling on these buildings and they were reflecting the golden glow of the sun. But guess what? I'm getting all bluish tones. I mean, there is no warm tone in the picture. So I'm a little confused. I don't know where things might have gone wrong, because I thought exposure, developing, scanning, all that, I kept it fairly consistent. But the Phoenix 1 just seems to be way more consistent, and Phoenix 2 is kind of giving me some mixed results. So here it is, and if I were to shoot this film again, I think I would definitely go for Phoenix 1, simply because I think I can probably predict what's going to come. And Phoenix 2, well, I don't know, maybe it warrants one more chance. Just buy, I could buy a roll of 35 and try. But what has been your experience? Have you guys shot both these films and compared it? Because I saw some reviews online and everybody is kind of finding that the Phoenix 2 is definitely better, although, you know, I thought when I saw some pictures online too, while the speaker was saying that they like Phoenix 2 better, I was again seeing some inconsistency in the way Phoenix 2 was rendering versus Phoenix 1. Now, if you see the website Phoenix 2 product description, it says second generation color film is very different from the original. That I agree. Each layer and component has been redesigned and re-engineered to a completely new formulation, potentially. New dyes, couplers, and even an experimental layer construct. Now, I don't know if the experimental layer is the one causing all these inconsistencies. Less bold and unpredictable. Less unpredictable. So it should be predictable. I find that to be questionable, at least from my experiment. Phoenix 2 still offers plenty of character for a truly analog look. Okay, I agree. The improvements to contrast. So what does improvement to contrast mean? Is it more contrasty, less contrasty? Because I thought it was fairly contrasty, and which is not a problem, which is fine. Improvements to grain, that I disagree, because, you know, the grain structure of the Phoenix 2 to me, having seen film all these years, felt a little jarring and more digital-like. I don't know if that's the right word, but when compared to the grain of Phoenix 1, Phoenix 1 I thought looked like better. And sharpness, again, questionable. I thought the Phoenix 1 was plenty sharp, and you know, that's why I used the autofocus camera, and my subjects were fairly still, including the dog. So I don't know whether Phoenix 2 is actually sharper. I don't know, maybe should I do a different scanning and use something better? Maybe I'll try again. Help to retain shadow and highlight detail. Again, no. The shadows were not really good in Phoenix 2. More flexibility in exposure latitude. I don't know whether that is true again. Scanning is also improved at default settings, and the final look will vary based on the scanner used. But definitely, that is fine. I think a lot of films, or most films, this is true about most films. Phoenix 2 is your chance to try something completely new, experimental, and get creative. Okay, yeah, it is experimental. I think it's just that it's inconsistent. Leave your preconceptions behind and enjoy the journey. Definitely. So it definitely is an enjoyable journey. It's just that I feel Phoenix 1 is better. Let me know what you think. So I don't know. For whatever it's worth, I shot both of them, and let me know in your comments, what you think, and if you think I would have done something different and I should correct something, let me know. I might potentially try another role soon. Thank you.